Hi, and welcome back. In today's lesson, I'd like to speak to you about the multiple ways that you're being conditioned every day. Now, the purpose of this lesson isn't to stop the conditioning from happening, but it's to help you to understand what's going on, because the conditioning is going on around you and it's happening to you every day, whether you know it or not, or whether you like it or not. But by knowing it, by being able to understand it, I should say, you'll be able to determine whether you want to accept the conditioning, whether you want to reject the conditioning, or turn it around. You'll be more in control of your life rather than allowing your life or life's experiences to control you. So let's jump right into it. One of the first methods, and probably one of the largest ones, is through advertising, signs, logos. How many times have you been driving down the street and maybe it's around lunchtime and you're thinking, what should I get? And you saw 2 or 3 McDonald's signs and all of a sudden, I'm going to pull into McDonald's. Okay, that's called branding. It's not direct advertising, but when you see these huge signs from restaurants and banks and all kinds of cars and all that, those aren't designed to get you to buy right away. They're designed to help you to make a decision when you decide you want to get something. By seeing a certain pizza advertising everywhere, when it comes lunchtime and you start thinking about pizza, boom, that branding comes in your head because you saw it. When you start to get thirsty and you want a soft drink, oh, you just saw a Coca-Cola one. You see what I mean? So the branding helps you to make a decision once you decide you want something. How about when you go into a store? Here's another one. You go into grocery stores. You're being conditioned quite often. How many times have you gone by a demonstrator who's demonstrating or giving out samples of something, and you go over and you try it, and then you end up buying the item? It's funny how we go to the grocery store with a list of 15 things. That's all I want is 15. I shouldn't go 5, right? 15 things, but you walk out with 50 things. Wow. Last week, Luca and I went to the grocery store to get a few things, and when I got to the register, actually for the last 3 times I went, the bill was over $200. Okay, it's like, yikes, do we eat that much groceries? But we just started buying things, and we can use some extra ones of these, and why don't we put these in the pantry and we'll save some of these, and for a rainy day. But it was like $200, and I expected on spending maybe $60. Okay, so that is conditioning in the grocery stores. You notice that everything at eye level are the most popular brands and usually the most expensive ones, but the cheap generic ones are either way up there where you could barely reach them, or down on the ground, you don't want to bend down. But at eye level are the money makers. They play the elevator music to make you comfortable, to make you relax, to make you want to stay. They have the even flow of aisles. They have everything is attractive, the marketing and the products and all that. So grocery stores are a great place to be conditioned and not even realize you're doing it. Music has great conditioning. You hear really comfortable music. When you're in a grocery store, you want to stick around. Negative, heavy beat music, a lot of times you want to run. So you can use music, relaxing music, to get people to do things or to stay longer. It's funny, when my kids were teenagers and they'd come home from school and I'd be working in my office doing hypnosis sessions right on the other side of the door, they knew when they came in, if the door's closed, to sit in the room and be quiet until I'm done my session and I come out. And I would play on purpose really relaxing music. In fact, it was called theta relaxation. It would bring you into a relaxed state. So they'd come home all excited, wanting to tell me everything about school and jumping up and down. They'd come in, oh, Dad's in a session. They'd sit down, and the music would just condition them, and it would relax them. And when I'd come out, instead of having them jump on me and everything, they'd be like, hey, Dad, how was your day? You see what I mean? It would relax them. Matter of fact, half the time when they came home from school, I saw them coming down the street. I'd close the door so they thought I had a session, and then they'd sit down and relax just so I can come out and not have all this craziness, have a calm home. So don't tell them that I did that, all right? Another way that we're conditioned constantly is through fear. Fear of deadlines. Think of advertisements you may have seen either in the store or in mailings or in television, radio. Call now. We only have 2 left on hand, or the sale ends tomorrow. Oh no. Last weekend I wanted to get a product and it said ends Monday. Guess what? Today's Monday. And what was it I wanted to get? Oh, I wanted to get some filler. It's actually a body filler for epoxy to fill in the cracks in a boat I'm building. And it was like, well, I bought it on Amazon for $30, but with their sale right here at the store in Portland, I can get it for $15. I'll get 2. So I actually called the number. When can I do it? Well, it ends tomorrow. You're going to have to hurry. You see what I mean? So I did it right on the spot. Then I bought it. I said, did I really need 2? 1 will do the job. Okay. But even though I understand these things, a lot of times they get me as well. Or, okay, we have a meeting at 12 o'clock. It's a deadline. You have to have that project done. Oh, you're fired. Okay, oh, there's a fear coming into you that makes you want to, it really conditions you to do more. For kids, keep that noise down in your room or you won't be able to play your video games tomorrow. Okay, so fear. Do this or that. Let's see. Buy the best security systems or your house will be broken into. All right. Call your doctor now before something happens to you. Get the purple pill. All right. So these are all the ways that we're being conditioned. Also through stories, okay? One of the forms of hypnosis, in fact, is called, an Ericksonian hypnosis, is actually hypnotizing people through stories, nursery rhymes, fairy tales, or metaphors, all right? And another form of that is in parables. When you go to church and they talk about a parable of this person did this, or they tell the story, the priest says that person, John, was beating on his wife and his children, and it was terrible for them, but John didn't think he was doing anything bad. And suddenly, something happened to John, and he regretted it. And you go on with the story, and if there's people in the congregation thinking, oh, wow, John was in a really rough sorts, I shouldn't beat on my kids and my wife. And he learns the lesson. So he's being hypnotized, he's being conditioned by hearing stories of other people. And that's why they use parable and stories. That's why you see these children's stories giving morals, and like the boy who cried wolf. If your child lies a lot, have him read The Boy Who Cried Wolf. And in that story, it talks about this boy who always lied and said, there's wolves here, as he was tending his flocks to get all the village people to come and pay him attention. And when the wolf did come, he yelled, wolf, 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 and nobody came, and the wolf ate him. So children hear that and they think, oh, I better not lie, I better tell the truth. That's conditioning. There's another one called the teacher expectancy effect. When a teacher expects a student to perform, the student will perform accordingly. If a teacher says, or even a parent works with anyone, says, you're a wonderful child, you're smart, you're really going to make it in life, chances are they will make it in life. But if a parent keeps on saying, why aren't you as smart as your brother? You're not very smart, you're worthless, you're useless. He's going to grow up with very bad self-image and feel that he's worthless and useless. So however you are perceived by others in authority is usually how you'll see yourself as well. It becomes part of your being. So it's very important to treat your children and your spouse with respect and promote them as often as possible if you want them to grow and to fit into that or fill into those shoes. Even the Hawthorne effect. It's actually a phenomenon where the behavior of people is changed in response to their environment, to their room. So a lot of employers, corporate America, they have these big places where a lot of people work. They'll play nice music in the background, soothing. They'll use calm colors. They try to do their little feng shui, and it makes the people happier. If it's a mill that's just loud noises and everybody yelling and screaming and there's no work been done in the place, it's just ugly, people are going to be miserable. But if it's nice, if they try to decorate it and have pretty things here and there and make it a comfortable, happy environment, people are going to they're going to fit into that environment. So into the, how things have changed into the surroundings. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Do you realize that anything you do repeatedly becomes a habit. That's why in school, write this on the board 50 times, or your parents will tell you to practice tying your shoe over and over, because doing something over and over creates a habit. Habits, once you do them religiously, become your beliefs. So think about your beliefs now. Your religious beliefs, in most cases, are the ones that you were brought up with, that your parents taught you all your life. When you were a child, they probably dragged you to church every day, and you didn't want to go. You didn't want to go. Today, you're dragging your children to church because that became your belief. Why do you have a specific football team or soccer team or baseball team that you religiously look at them as they're the best? Because it was conditioned by your parents or your guardians or people around you, that's the best. Or you live in that area, that's the best, and it becomes the best for you. Well, in the other part of the country, it's a whole different team that's the best. In a different part of the world, they believe in different religions, different football teams, different foods, different morals, because that's how they were brought up. Repetition creates habit, creates belief. So be careful what you do repeatedly. You did this in reciting the alphabet so many times, now you can do it religiously. You learn to type that way. Answering the phone. If you answer the phone, Joe's Bar and Grill, you're going to continue saying that. You go home, Joe's Bar, oops, hello? You feel funny. Driving home every day from work. Sometimes you don't even want to go home and you pull into the driveway. That's not where I wanted to go. It was a habit. Also driving to work each day. Even brushing your teeth is a habit. So think of the repetitive things you do each day, just subconsciously. Your subconscious takes over once it becomes a habit and you don't have to think about it anymore. Even if you're accepting everything I'm saying right now, if you're not going la, 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 all these things I'm saying, all these suggestions are becoming part of your belief system, part of you. You're accepting it. That's the definition of hypnosis, which is being open to suggestion. So right now, you're being hypnotized. And also when you're speaking to people downtown, at the stores, at school, at home, in church, with your relatives, as long as you're not resisting it. Now that brings me to the other side. Even if you resist it, if I say, this is the best way to do something, this is the best way to do something, and you go, no, it isn't, then guess what? You're giving yourself a counter suggestion. And you're accepting that. Raluca was reading, I don't know, she was watching a YouTube video where this guy is really big into self-help, and he went up to his clients, one of his clients, and talking about self-help, and the person says, I don't believe in self-help. I don't believe in affirmations. They don't work. They don't work. And he said, right now you're giving yourself a negative affirmation that they don't work, and that's what you believe, and that's what you're continuing to condition yourself with. See how great affirmations work, which you're going to be doing shortly? By giving yourself an affirmation that something will work, you believe it repetitively, it becomes a habit. But if you go, this won't work, you're still creating a habit, but of the opposite. So when I tell somebody anyone can be hypnotized, and you go, and you believe it, then you can be hypnotized. And if you say, no, I can't, you're conditioning yourself that you can't. Even though you can be. Anyone who can understand the language can be and is being conditioned every day. So if you say, no, you're being conditioned the other way, but you're still being conditioned. Two other very strong ways of conditioning is reading and writing. Reading a story, whenever you read a story, you're giving yourself suggestion. In our hypnosis certification courses, I teach people all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So when I'm hypnotizing someone and giving them positive suggestions, unless I'm going la, 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 trying to fight it, I'm accepting those suggestions as well. So I'm constantly hypnotizing myself and bettering myself when I'm hypnotizing and bettering other people. Isn't that great? That's why at the end of a 8-hour or 6-hour day of doing hypnosis, rather than going home exhausted, I go to home feeling great because I've been giving myself hypnosis suggestions all day long. So it's a wonderful thing. So that's reading and writing. If there's something that you want to get through to your head, write it down. Write it down in suggestion format or in affirmation format. Anything you write, you have to formulate, you have to think, you have to plan. What do I want? You know, who, what, where, when, why, and how. All those things, you write them down, and you basically made it real. You formulated an image that you can think about, that you can imagine, that you can grow with. So that's very, very hypnotic. So there's a bunch of different ways, about 11 or 12 ways that you're being hypnotized every day. And there's an awful lot more. A while back, I started writing a book, and I got up to like 40 different ways we're being conditioned on a daily basis. So just keep that in mind. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.